Hello everyone and welcome to VTOL VR. This is the F-45A series. We've done 3 stock missions already, and we ran out of stock missions. Basically, there are none left. Luckily, there is the Steam workshop for every plane of the VTOL VR. This time we're going to look at some of the scenarios. It's basically a small mission review, but mainly it's a walkthrough. It's how you can get the best out of this mission, how you can pass it, and why you should do the mission in the end. So scenarios, we're going to select F-45A. So the first of the mission on top here is called Fyrfox, developed by Fyrcat. As you can see, it's got lots of votes. So let's favorite. We already subbed. Let's look at the mission. So we are Tango 1-1. So our mission is basically to steal the super stealthy aircraft. There are dissidents who will help us create the distraction so we can take off. So basically we are stealing a plane. So very, very exciting. It's a very nice scenario. And there will be some bogies in the air trying to find us. So steal the ASF-45. Fly west of the seacoast, find a friendly fleet to make contact, land on the carrier in one piece. So there's lots of boats on the way. There are lots of SAMs and 2 nearby squadrons of ASF-33s, possibly a prototype ASF-58. So we don't get to choose the loadout. The loadout is sold because we are stealing the plane. It's already been preloaded. There's nothing we can do about it. So very smart by Fyrcat. So let's fly the mission. So it's important in the very beginning of the mission. You mustn't lose time. Start up your plane. There's already a fight going on. There's lots of anti-air defenses in the area. So get onto the runway, go to the right, take off as far to the right as you can, then make a U-turn and then head west. Use the terrain, use the canyons, use the rivers to try and stay low and undetected. Once you get out to the open sea, you'll be safe. We only have the anti-air defenses. Okay, sorry, we have anti-air rockets, AIM 120s and AIM 9s. Okay, let's do this. Oops. We don't need this. So vertical takeoff is out of the question because you will be too slow and you'll be knocked down very, very soon. So how we're going to take off? There's the anti-air there. So we need to go that way, but let me clear the enemies from the base. So when we want to get into this canyon, which will be taking us west, basically. Okay, no flak. Okay, reduce the speed, and let's get into the canyon, and then see what we can do from there. Here is a bit of night vision. Okay. gonna set this to night. And you can keep an eye on the first thing that will pop out is a small boat, which we can take out with our guns. So you see, we want to navigate through this channel and then head out to the sea. We got plenty of fuel. Okay, you can see the planes are in the air trying to find us. We have 4 of each, 4 radar guided and 4 heat guided, heat seeking missile. When these planes get too close, you can engage them, but try not to engage them before that. Okay, I think our first target is there.
Altitude.
There is no point in using guns before you get really close because it's not very precise, so it's going to be missing. So save your ammo.
Altitude.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, let's just save, just in case. Forward, and then let's hit the map. Okay, now what we need to do is we should go that way because we're gonna hit the cruiser. So let's fly over these hills here. Because there is a big ship in this area that we can't take out. We have nothing to take it out with, so the best thing is to avoid. Actually, what I want to do is probably use this valley here. So don't go over water.
Altitude.
There is a sand over there.
Altitude.
So let's dip down.
Pull up. Altitude. Pull up. Over T. Altitude. Over T. Altitude.
Okay.
Pull up. Chat, flare, pull up. Altitude. Pull up.
Volume.
Pull up. Over T. Shoot. Over T.
You can see him spanning chaff and oops. Yep.
Missile launch.
Okay, there's a cruiser, I think.
Chaff, flare, over T. Altitude. Chaff, flare. Pull up. Shoot. Pull up. Altitude. Shoot.
Okay, let's get the radar on.
Over T. Chav, flare. Chav, flare. Altitude, chav, flare. Altitude. 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 Over T. Over T. Over T. Pull up. Pull up. Altitude. Pull up. Pull up. Altitude. Pull up. Altitude. 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 Pull
Okay,
up.
so we're almost there. They seem to be turning around. They're not sure where I am. They got lock.
Altitude is a launch.
But the missiles will have a hard time
Missile
tracking me
launch.
in this terrain.
Chav, flare. Altitude. Altitude is a launch. Chav, flare. Chav, flare. Altitude. Altitude. Pull up. Altitude. Missile launch. Altitude. Altitude. Altitude.
Okay, let's engage. Otherwise this would be too easy. So let's try and pop out and destroy a couple of these.
Over T.
Or just fire some rockets, not take them back with us.
Over T. Shoot. Missile launch. Over T. Pinball. Over T. Flare. Over T. Flare. Missile launch. Shoot. Chav, flare. Pull up. Chav, flare. Pull up. Pull up. Flare. Launch. Pull up. Chav to flare. Over T. Chav, flare. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up.
Okay, got hit by one.
Pull up. Missile
At least I
launch.
took
Over
one out
T.
with me.
Over T. Over T. Over T.
Okay. So there were too many when I engaged. That wasn't very smart. So let's look at this. So we're gonna now skip this part. Let's head to this valley. I made a mistake by going through the. Let's hit this valley, and then that will give us a safe passage for our return. Let's try and not engage.
Over T. Altitude. 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 Altitude.
Okay, so we have somebody coming from ahead. Let's engage.
Shoot. Over T. Altitude. 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 Pull up. Pitbull. Altitude. Altitude. Pull up.
Okay,
Pull up.
and now
Pull up.
that we got
Pull up.
to this
Pull
part,
up.
we're just gonna
Pull
use
up.
this
Pull up.
valley
Pull up.
to get out to the
Pull
open
up.
sea.
Pull up. Altitude. 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 Pull up. Altitude. Altitude. Pull up.
Oops.
Over D. Shoot. Over D. Over D. Pitbull. Missile launch. Shoot.
Okay, he's gonna have 2 to deal with. Okay.
Over D. Chaff flare. Pull up. Over D. Altitude. Altitude. Over D. Pull up.
Just trying to make myself less visible.
Over D. Altitude. 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 Altitude.
Okay, let's save
Altitude.
and let's
Altitude.
see
Altitude.
if we need to engage these pursuers.
Altitude.
Got 2 of each. Okay.
Altitude.
Ooh.
Altitude. 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 Altitude.
Because I think if they're following me into the open sea now, I'm gonna have a little chance. So
Altitude.
there are 2 of them.
Altitude.
Let's engage.
Missile launch. Over D. Missile launch. Altitude launch. Shoot launch. Chaff flare. Over D. Chaff flare. Over D. Altitude. Chaff flare. Over D. Chaff flare. Altitude. Altitude.
Okay, let's deal with this one now that he's not looking.
Altitude. Over D. Missile launch. Shoot. Altitude. Altitude.
Okay, I sent both aims at him.
Pitbull.
Or 1 at least.
Shoot.
Okay, he's down.
Over D.
Save.
Over D.
And then let's go on our merry way. This and this we can get rid of.
Altitude. 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 Altitude.
Okay, so there are some coastal defenses here. Let's just get the speed and just fly past them. We will try not to engage. No more fighter escort threat.
Altitude.
Okay, so see there's some there.
Altitude.
We are basically
Altitude.
stealth because all of the weapons are in the internal base, which is pretty cool. think I saw some damage. Yep, our wing is slightly damaged,
Altitude.
but the performance is still okay. So now it's autopilot time. Altitude 501. Okay, so the next task is to land on the carrier. Now, the only thing you need to pay attention to is if you make a call to the radio and just ask for permission to land, the mission will automatically take you to one of the cruisers, which is very hard to land on, which I did when I was doing the mission originally. But then I figured out that this is not a mission checkpoint, so you need to land on the proper carrier. So what we will do is we will call out specifically not the cruiser, but the aircraft carrier, and then say, shall we do conventional landing? Yeah, let's go for it.
Tango 1-1, tower, copy. Fly heading 255. You can expect runway 35.
The funny thing is that the aircraft carrier does not have the approaching vectors or markers. I don't know why, but doesn't matter, I guess. So let's say to waypoint. It's still too far to see. Okay, we won't need the arm switch anymore, so we can switch that off. Okay, so here we have cruisers. There's carrier.
Autopilot disengaged.
The objective says find a friendly carrier fleet. I suppose that's okay. The only thing I don't really understand is why the carrier doesn't have the approaching vectors.
Tango 1-1, Mogul. Good job. Get close to the fleet and we'll cover you. Contact tower when ready to land.
Okay, let's do this again.
Tango 1-1, tower, copy. Fly heading 257. You can expect runway 35.
35, which means 3535. That's the general direction. So we're doing well. We're gonna make a U-turn. Okay, let's get the the map here. Okay, here we go. So now the approach vectors have appeared. Just good.
Tango 1-1, cleared to land on the carrier.
Okay, reduce speed. We're gonna use the hook. And gently start turning in. we're bang on. So reduce the speed and altitude. Landing gear down. Let's do a save, because I tend to screw up this part. Especially.
1-1, call the ball.
Okay, the ball is spot on, but it should be a little bit too high now.
You're high. Ready for lineup. You're high. Wave off, wave off. One wire. Welcome back. Follow the taxi path to your parking area.
Okay, very good. So there you go. As you can see, it's a nice little mission. It tests your awareness, the ability to use the terrain to navigate the canyon and all that, avoid the missiles, engage your escort, but also prioritize your target. So well done, Fyrcat. I would advise you go to the Steam work and check out this mission, leave it a like, and we'll see what we have next in store. Okay, till next time, bye.